Oh, I should have had a drink. Why do I feel so nervous? I'm so good at public speaking. I like to think so anyway. I've been working on Lucky's for about 10 years now. And then through that, I worked 2 jobs for 5 years now to raise capital and equity and just savings to be able to be here. And then while doing that, it's like a learn while you earn situation. I was always able to meet my quota for knowledge or skills by going to go get coffee or setting up meetings, anything to be able to be invited to the round table so I can learn more and execute more. And it's crazy because, like, for me, I am very happy and, like, I don't want to say content, but I'm at a place of yes, but it's still just the tip of the iceberg. Like, I'm planning a hospitality group bigger than Hilton, Danny Myers, and all the other guys. I want to make sure Lucky's and the brand and the group is everything that I guess I worked for and I learned over all the years in hospitality. Originally, Lucky's was going to be called my cousin Tiff Huff. She was my mentor, my tutor, and my accountability partner, right? So I would go to her house for like papers or whatever, or talk about different ventures, and I would be jumping on the end of her bed, so excited about whatever new venture I had coming. Like, oh, this, that, and the third. So I was like, oh, I'm getting a place. It's going to be called Apps, and it's going to be all digital, and we're only going to sell appetizers, and the menu is going to be like a tablet. Like, every item on the menu is going to be like an icon, and underneath it, like on your iPad, and it says, like, calculator is going to be like wings or fries, like that. So she was like, oh, yeah, okay. And then she started giving me more feedback about, like, hitting timelines and deadlines, and then be like, well, if I want this, how do I break it down for it to become what I want it to be, right? So it's more digestible. So that's how it first came up. And then as I evolved and elevated, so did the brand, right? So it wasn't apps anymore. I was planning on the whole, it's an app for that. I was an undergrad, you know, the iPads and all that was like new, and everything was like, it's an app for that. So I'm like, oh, we're going to take this and make it into like a bar or a restaurant. Then I learned more, worked in fine dining and casual and over the counter. I was like, oh, I really want to do small plates and tapas. So I still want that, but with the growth in myself and learning more, obviously the vision got clearer and better. Okay, so I'm going to start with the logo. So the logo is navy blue because it's my mom's favorite color. And it's my mom. Like, so then when it was time to execute everything, I'm not going to take credit for how, like, great it looks. Yuko, she's a Japanese woman. Yeah, everybody's a woman on the team. Let them know. She's my general contractor and my architect and designer, and just so grateful to have her. But there were certain stuff that was on my list that I had, like, and I wanted marble tables. I wanted the bar to be like small, intimate, like, you know, you're at my kitchen, like that. And I wanted it to be homey, and I didn't want like restaurant furniture or bar or nightclub furniture like that. And I knew I wanted gray, marble, and the navy blue. So she tied everything else in, like all the small little details. No, this side is lines, and that side is like circles. Uh-huh. You know, like the lights match with the walls, and these mirrors is like that. That mirror circle, she did all that. Act accordingly. Me and my friends started saying that when we were probably like 19 or 18. We would say it after every single thing, like, act accordingly. And I was like, oh, I'm getting neon of that in Lucky's because that's the only rule when you get in here. Act accordingly. We treat you kind, you treat us kind, right? We up, dancing, having a good time, get up, dance, have a good time, you know? And the PDR, I worked in special events. They were just so useful. People always wanted the semi-private or private area. And I was like, when I open up my own place, I got to have a PDR. When I was a server at Burger and Lobster, I worked the PDR every Friday and Saturday night. And I would have parties of 30 or 40 or whatever. And I can, listen, I'm going to turn and burn. I will get a 30 top in and out in an hour and 15 minutes. They'll have 2 drinks, a birthday cake or donuts, whatever they bring, and everybody eat. Bust the whole room. Flip it again for the next party or just regular seating. So I love a PDR, and that's why I had to have one here at Lucky's. Having it feel like my home, I feel like it's important for what I'm trying to cultivate. The idea is for everybody to come to Lucky's to have a treasured experience. And that's when we exceed your expectations and we under-promise and over-deliver, and we give you things that you didn't even know that you wanted. I mean, obviously you can do that in a restaurant too, but we are a neighborhood, and I wanted to be in a residential area because I want to build those long-term relationships. We're lucky this is going to be here for the next 50 years, right? People who are buying homes, who live here, who are moving in, I want them to feel like, oh, we have another living room. Like, we have somewhere else that we can go and feel just as good, just as comfortable. That's why when you come in here, you're never underdressed or overdressed, right? Like, you can have on sweats and butters, or you can have on a cocktail dress. Like, however you're feeling is good. I'm going to say COVID. Running is challenging. Like, when your business needs something, it's good problems. You run out of something and your delivery doesn't come and you got to run the stores, right? In New York City, it's challenging because it takes you 50 minutes to go 2 miles. But COVID. I got my liquor license the week after everything shut down. I quit my job 2 weeks before everything shut down. So I was kind of like, what's next? I had to sit on my license for 7 months before I can open. And then all of the challenging things with that was things that you have to pay that, mind you, you're not bringing in any business. You have no source of income. You quit your job. Your business did not open. You don't qualify for any assistance. You have to have payroll. You have to be in operations to get a grant, to get a loan, to get James Beer or Guinness or any of those things. They want you to be already operating, even with Google. Everybody wants you to be operating for a certain amount of time. And there was really nothing for the people who were in the middle of opening a business. And I think that was the most challenging thing. But nevertheless, I feel like COVID was really a season that strengthened my faith. It's never been so true as walk by faith and not by sight. I don't know. I don't want to get emotional, but I feel so blessed that it happened right before I opened, and I didn't have staff and inventory and tons of stuff that I needed to deplete and stuff like that. I was just starting, so it gave me an opportunity to spend time with family and friends, and I know I will never get that type of downtime again. And the only thing that kept me going when I felt like I was drained, when I was working 2 jobs for 5 years, was this is the least busy you'll ever be. If you say this is if you're going to build this grand hospitality group and be a wife and a mother and a great daughter and granddaughter and a sister and all this stuff, this is the least busy you'll ever be. You can't go and do some admin work in the morning and then serve tables at night. You're too tired to do that. You're not ready for your harvest season, right? So those are the things that kept me going. So I always would be you'll always be busier than what you are now. And then when COVID happened, that just crushed everything that I ever said. It was no, you won't be. Actually, now you'll be not busy at all. And I don't know, I felt blessed because it was true. I will never have that type of time again to just go and get my granddad and take them to lunch, hang out with my mom, fry chicken at 11 o'clock, and do nothing, and, play video games with my fiance. I can do it, but there's still so much that needs to be done. It takes priority because this is like a new baby and it's so much time. Don't let people scare you. And I'm saying that in a different way. Like, people say, like, don't let people scare you when you have an idea and you tell somebody, right? Like, I'm 18 or 19. I'm like, oh, I'm going to open up apps. And then the first person I tell, they say, oh, well, restaurants fail in their first year. Not that type of scare. Don't let people scare you when you're in it. People will, don't get me wrong, suggestions are great and sometimes helpful. But don't let people compromise your vision or your brand or your goals or your objectives because of their thoughts. You'll have men and women telling you to do it this way or do it that way or add this or add that because of whatever their thoughts is. Like, stay true to yourself and what your brand is. It's crazy, but still to this day, we have a situation where there's sexism, right? I call the electrician and I say, hey, I need you here at this time. And he calls my fiance. And I'm just like, you call him to say I shouldn't or I can't do something like it's 1950 and I need a dad or a husband to buy a car? So don't let people like try to push you in one direction or another. If you have a vision or goal in your brand, stay true to it. It feels so much better when you stay true to like what you are and what you're doing, and you see your harvest and you see, your plants growing versus someone discouraging you or trying to push you to get like a fast dollar. You're here for quality ingredients, executed well plates and cocktail, and stellar service. You're not here for karaoke. And we don't have trivia on Wednesday. And we don't do margarita Mondays. So that's what it is. You got to stand tough. You got to know what you want and stand on it. And if you like believe in it, don't let people make you compromise your morals or your values or your brand because they're comfortable with it or they're trying to show you how you can get some fast or easy money. Slow motion is better than no motion. This is going to be so obvious. My fiance calls me the water boy. He says, all I say is, Mama said. He said, you're like, my mom do this, my mom has that, my mom does it this way. But my mom is like the perfect combination of like sweet and strong. Like, she really is. She's like nurturing and funny and like clever and wise. And she always have like these one-liners that make so much sense and just put stuff in perspective for you. And it's like, wow, your mind works really fast for you to like shoot like that, She's been making it happen and making it shake for like my entire life. So I don't know. I feel like there's nothing that I can't do. And she's so selfless. I've seen her open up her home like so many times to people and just, she's so loving. I love babies because she loved babies and she always, I don't know. She's such, everybody calls her auntie. And, in the South, the auntie is like the center, right? And like people gravitate and you go to that house and it's a feeling and an energy that you get from that person, whether it's a sense of calm or like whether you feel secure or you feel okay. And I don't know, she just provided that for so long. So I hope I can be even a tenth of like what she's done for people and who she is. I would be grateful. I know, Mom, my makeup. So selfless. Like, things that even, I know, like, annoys her and like drains her, like she'll still like get up and do. Like all of our friends who are over 70 and like or whatever, and she like, oh, I'm like she's taking them to Home Depot, or they want to do this or they want to do that, or like they want to like fix their house, and like she just cares so much. And I'm like, wow, like not that I don't care, but just to be in that space where you do it and it's never mentioned and you're not worried about it either. It's never a situation where I see my mom do something and she repeated it or she reminded somebody of what they'd done. She just did it because she wanted to do it, and that's what she did, and then that was the end. It's never been, I've never even heard her, and me and my mom is so close, and I never even heard her be like, well, remember when I did this, and I did this, and I did this, and I did that. And I know lists and examples of things that she did for people from ceiling to the floor. And even if they wronged her, after that, it would still be like, have mercy. And I'll be like, it would have been off with their head.
Shout out to moms.
The real heroes are the moms.
That's a fact.
The real heroes are the moms. Black women in leadership roles is just for Black girls, right? We need to see ourselves in positions that we think are tangible and accessible and possible, right? If you grew up seeing nothing but apartments or Hondas your whole life, your goal would be probably to get a Honda because you haven't seen a Maybach or a Mercedes-Benz or a Tesla, right? You would aim for what you've seen and what you've been exposed to. So even if they physically don't know us or haven't seen us, even like through social media, oh my God, this Black girl does $1 million in sales with here. Or this Black girl does social media, like for a living. And I'm good at social media. I put all these little clips together. Or she's a producer. Like, these are roles that we haven't been introduced to. We don't even know that they exist, right? My granddad's house was ran like a restaurant my entire life. And I had no idea. I went to fine dining when I was like 22. And I was a host, co-check, the office manager. I did their payroll, everything. And my GM, where his name was Nathan Klebenall, he would always compliment me, like, your attention to detail, like, you're so good, this, that, and the third. And to me, it just felt like I was at my granddad's on a Sunday. Mr. Howard come in, you grab his coat, you put it up, you give him a drink, you sit him down, you give him a plate, you take it away, you get him another drink. It was being ran like that the whole time, but I just didn't know that was a position. So when Black women are in roles of makeup artists, directors, restaurateurs, whatever you can think of, vendors, and we're wholesalers and retailers, you then have more exposure to all that you can be. You're not like confined, like, well, you have to be a doctor or a lawyer or this. Like when we were 6 or 7, those were like the it jobs. Like, oh, well, I have to do this or I have to do that. You can do editing. You can be a producer. You can do it for yourself, or you can do it for Paramount, or you can do it for Viacom, like, or Tyler Perry, like. So that's why it's so important. I think it starts with us or whoever paved the way for us, and we have to keep broadening and extending and pushing for those who are coming after us.